To do good research is such a mind game. And I almost always have to say, screw you to the rest of the world. I think it's like really incredibly important to do this. It's so difficult to actually do. And I think that's why people get really nasty. Um, in that, why is it so important? So there is this unbelievable amount of desire to expedite things, and you're constantly being measured, and people look at you as if you're like garbage if you don't have, you know, these publications, wherever the heck that they actually are. I mean, that's true. If you're in the field, you understand what I'm talking about. And, they devalue you based on any number of you pick the characteristic. They devalue you, right? You don't go to the right school, you don't have the right publications, you don't have, I don't know, you don't have the right, like, you don't have, it's stupid to say this, you don't have a theory paper. I know most of you don't know what I'm talking about, but like, there's all these kind of stupid things where people are like just outright snobbish about things, and that's ultimately what it is. And you have to question yourself: what am I actually doing here? So the first thing is to say screw you to the rest of the world is you have to push against that unbelievable amount of desire to impress upon other people, that somehow what you're doing is important. And man, it is hard to do that because I want to impress upon other people. I want people to love me, right? Like that's ultimately that's my desire. But not only that, the amount of love that you get. I know it sounds stupid, but it's credibility is actually what we're looking at. The amount of sort of credibility or love that you get means that you get paid more, um, or you get job opportunity, things like that, right? Like, so it really does matter in that game, and so you have to push back against that because here's the thing, right? There's a desire to impress, which often pulls away from things that are way more important in the long run, and yet it's extraordinarily painful to do these long run things because they take up time. They're painful. We're like doing analytical work that is important, that is slow, that where you check multiple times, that you look at things and you say, well, what did I do this? Did I do that? All of these certain things. It takes up an enormous amount of time, and it's so painful to do it, and everybody wants to rush through it, right? So that's the first thing is you have this desire. That's why it's so important to just say screw you to the rest of the world, is because you have this desire to get things done expediently. I mean, I'm not saying like don't do things, like don't work hard, don't do things, I'm not saying like sit around and do nothing, right? Like this is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you push against that desire that you feel right now to impress upon other people, so you do things credibly, and you take the slow, painful, methodical way that just ultimately sucks. Anybody that's in it understands what I'm talking about. It just sucks. And you're gonna do it, and it's still gonna be wrong. You're still gonna have to redo things 100 times over. Wrong, and not in the sense that you are wrong, but in the sense that the audience doesn't understand what the heck you're talking about. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing, because it's this weird game of impressing upon other people. Like, I don't know. There's no other way to say this, but people tend to read into things in a lot of different ways. And I could either be nasty, um, because of this, or I could be joyous. And it's a really tough thing to do. I understand. I am all about it. Um, but I try to choose what is repetitive, what is, not only joyous, but I think in the long run is healthy and good. And, these sort of really soft things that you can't measure. And those things, because we measure things, everything's like such a, short run game. The desire is there, right? Like that's the only thing that explains it is this burning desire to impress and to do things so quickly. And it's really squishy. Um, I can't, I wish I could tell people this, but they don't understand it, right? Like even people in different fields, they don't quite get it in the same way as one gets in the social sciences because things just are just meticulously slow and well known that things take a long time. Um, and we experience this a lot. We feel this feeling that just, man, there's a, the only thing to explain is the burning desire to do things expediently. Um, in a bad way, right? In to cut corners and to do things to get things done. But but that desire, you have to have that sort of like I'm going to push against that to make sure to know that I'm trying to do it right, the best of my ability. I'll obviously right, it's the whole Boy Scout thing, or Girl Scout thing, or Girl Guides as they are in Canada and Britain, which by the way have really good cookies. Um, you know, the mint ones are the best, but I can't have that many because I get headaches from chocolate, the mint chocolate chip. Anyways, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but this burning desire often creates you to be not so nice um, to other people, and that's why, at least for me, I have to push against it, right? Like it's an active, intentional thing where I'm like, I got to push against this feeling of I want to impress, and I gotta give the world the middle finger. And I know that sounds so bad, um, and if you're to listen to me, I'm cursing all the time in my head. I wish you can, if you wanted to hear what's going on in my head, it's probably no good. Certainly would have to go to confession. Grew up being Catholic. Certainly I have to go to confession, but it's because I need to push against that desire. Um, and there's no right or wrong, right? Like I think about the challenges with what we actually do. The only thing that sets you up and it's just a wicked desire to do things quickly or to be recognized or, just ultimately, to be loved. uh, and unless you're in it, you don't get it. And like this feeling that you feel, um, you probably get it in minor amounts in other parts of your life, but within the academic game, it is very strong because you do not get a job and all those kind of things. So you have to push back against it and do things right and treat other people as decently as possible. And I know that's hard to do. Um, Trust me, I could be a jerk a lot of times too. And I recognize why. It's because I'm trying to do things expediently and want to get back to what I wanted to do. And I have to push against it. This desire that's in my stomach that says, oh, the clock is ticking, which is, if you were to say a few words that describe the whole academic aim, the clock is ticking, that's how you describe it. Um, and you have to push against it and say, I'm going to do things properly. It's a slow and steady process. The things I'm doing matter. The carefully doing things matter. frustrating as I'll get out. The world doesn't understand. The audience often doesn't understand. Your reviewers don't understand. You just have to do things as patiently as possible, pushing against all of that nonsense that's going on in your head and often in your heart as well. It's the only thing is to learn how to say F you or screw you to the rest of the world, whatever language you want to say, the rest of the world, so you can properly do things. And I don't know how else to do it other than to have that hard stance. That's brutal and yucky. But it's the only way I can set boundaries in my life that are healthy so I can survive, get going, and do good work repeatedly. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.